All right, what's up everyone, Sean here, and welcome to another detailing video. Nothing new, so to say, but just wanted to exercise another car wash once again. The Prius here, extremely dirty. Something about it just attracts a lot of dirt, even though it is coated with both the Cerakote V2 and on top of it is a little bit of a helping of the phobic spray coating from ADS on the hood and the rooftop to kind of rescue it a little bit, just because this thing does get really dirty from the places that this has been in, right? My sister's always been going to places, whether it's for work or going out with friends or something like that, you know, something recreational. This thing just gets super dirty for some reason. Out of all the cars here, this does get the dirtiest in a short time span. But that's all for more of an excuse for me to have fun and go ahead and get that more satisfying wash. And today in this video, we're going to do a clean a hybrid wash with these two chemicals right here, mainly, which is Pan's Clean Series or lineup with the rinseless wash and of course the shampoo, the neutral shampoo. There's no like high alkaline shampoo just yet from Pan, I guess. But that being said, we're gonna give it that little extra kick thanks to the citrus wash that I always been really liking as of late, just so we can make sure we can get everything off of the vehicle, and not too strong of a dose either. It's probably just be like a 1 to 60-ish dilution for the citrus wash, and infuse that with a little helping of this just for it to foam more. And I just love the smell. This smell is probably still my favorite out of all the shampoos. Maybe I'll do a shampoo smell video someday, but that'll be for another time. Anyways, we're gonna get this cleaned and all that fun stuff, man. Just another wash video just for me to have fun. So as you kind of see, I'm already like prepared. I have my keg right over there just because the sun is still kind of hitting it strong. And of course I got my foam cannon right here, which is again just like 40 mils of the clean shampoo with probably right around 900 mils of water, more or less, probably like 30 ounces or something like that, 32 or something like that. Basically where this line is. And today we are going to actually be bringing out an old friend of mine, which is a Griot's foam cannon. I forget the exact name for it, but it's not the Boss, but this is like the next best thing, especially for the value. And I still really like it for what it is. This actually was my first, like, you know, sort of bougie, I guess, foam cannon that I bought, and I loved it ever since. So anyway, let's get it going. Let's get that pre-wash going. That pre-wash is always that most important step for any type of wash, whether you do a hybrid wash or just a regular traditional wash, because you really want to make sure you get everything off as much as possible without really, you know, like going too hard on the paint and plastics, of course. So let's go ahead and start blasting this thing as soon as you turn on the pressure washer. All right, we're just gonna start from the back and then start blasting. So. Hopefully you guys can see that, but yeah, you can see like that gunk and filth coming down from where the soap is just running down. That's always like the satisfying feeling, right? Especially coming from the tire, all that stuff right there. Yeah, baby. Going to town. The chemical is going to town for sure. Yeah, on the other side, same thing. You can see like that film coming down. Yeah, again, especially from the tire. Yeah, and I actually like this level of foam. It's not the thickest, but it's definitely not what you would call thin either. It's like, it's got that wet look to it. And I like that because it sheets over the car rather than having that heavy foam like just like come off at a more inconsistent rate. So that with this kind of foam though, it really sheets off a lot better, at least in my opinion. So that's why I kind of go for more of that sheet foam sort of look versus that thick shaving cream foam. Yes, it does look better on camera, but in the long run, you kind of want to go for that wet look for practical reasons. And luckily, the shade is on our side today, as I am actually recording this a little later than usual. It's like more towards like evening time, early evening, mid-evening-ish. So definitely the best time to do it with the least amount of sun, but we still have that nice light for us to film. And speaking of that, yeah, we still got that film coming down, so. And I guess meanwhile, we still have some soap left. We can just at least get this started while it's still dwelling. Spread out the chemical more on the tire. Do a little quick brush up on lead tires. And before we actually blast off the car with the rinsing, I want to show you guys a little sneak peek of what we have in store for a future video. So, ta-da! Look at that, nice little sneak peek. It is a Mini Cooper. And the nicest thing about that car, that it is black, so that means we can actually really see the foam and everything, all the chemicals onto the car. But the catch is that we have to definitely be careful with the sun and everything. So we definitely have to keep in mind and be more mindful when dealing with that stuff. But nonetheless, it will be a fun car to go wash and coat and everything. So that'll be for a future video. Thought I'd throw that in there before I forget. And now we can actually go ahead and rinse off the vehicle here. Oh yeah, I forgot to almost do it with this camera angle, so hold on. Easy. Volvic is still kicking ass when it comes to water. You can really tell the difference between this and here, where it's not coated with the Volvic. yeah, look at all that film just melt right off. Here's Fallback on the hood, still doing its magic. Look at that. Unbelievable stuff. Especially with how easy it is to apply. All right, so we're pretty much safe because it is shaded. All the car is shaded. So we don't even need to sweat it when it comes to the sun hitting the car. But nonetheless, I will apply now the rinseless part of the hybrid wash. There we go. Just a nice light mist. So what the hybrid wash does, it combines the sort of the cleaning capability and the fun of the foam. And you can pick whatever you want, of course, just like anything. And then you have the rinseless wash for the sort of efficient part of the hybrid, because you don't have to rinse it off after. So you're reaping all the benefits of both types of chemicals in this wash. That's why I really like it. It's just the best of everything, best of both worlds. So if you're just like worried about your rinseless wash not cleaning well enough during that pre-wash phase, you have the shampoo plus some sort of citrus or APC thrown in there for that little extra kick to make sure that pre-wash gets everything off as much as possible, and that way the rinseless wash can come in and do the rest. So that's the whole point of a rinseless wash. Other than that, nothing else is too different. So that's really the greatest aspects of the hybrid wash. And here now comes the contact wash. Oh man. Unfortunately, this was neglected to the point where the paint is starting to come off. If only I cared about detailing back then, things maybe would have been different. But yeah, my sister doesn't take care of her car as well as I do, so that's why I kind of like started to do so once I got back into the rabbit hole of detailing. And unfortunately, yeah, this car is the most beat up of the cars here. But you know, every car has a story. Not every story ain't going to be pretty. That's the thing about cars. They always have a story to tell. Especially if it's a used car, because that for sure has some form of history. The clean rinseless wash is pretty slick. Definitely not the slickest, but it is slick. So if you want to use Pan's rinseless wash, you cannot go wrong with it for sure. It does have its place in the rinseless battle for sure in the ever so growing rinseless wash market. It's still continuing to grow. It's still continuing to improve. It's crazy, man. It is crazy of how fast stuff gets improved in just the nick of time, really. Now we have more and more ceramic coatings that have like this sort of insta-bond type of technology, especially from DIY Detail. It's crazy. It is definitely crazy. I can definitely tell you that. I also did a trim coating with an ADS trim coating plus, and I think it's been working pretty good. Still maintaining that black color. And it's just performing very nicely, I think. Bunch of little trees, branches and leaves and all that junk. Actually put that over there. Yeah. Well, they sure having fun with their little mopeds and whatever. Anyway, also there was another little big release from ADS with the ceramic coating. They released the pro version for everybody now, so that means, well, everybody can use a pro level coating. I thought it was always kind of weird to like lock off a certain ceramic coating to the pros, just because, like, I don't know, I just find ceramic coating in general to be pretty dummy proof at this point. I just don't see the benefits of just doing that anymore. You're literally locking off from a big group of people, you know, if not that's the majority. But I guess there are reasons for that, and maybe it's just for marketing reasons, but you know, to give it like that, ooh, it's the pro coating, oh, right? Like, okay, my bad. I'll stick to these ones that supposedly are any worse, if not just slightly worse, right? My bad. And it's not like they actually last any more than your typical ceramic coating. I mean, yes, there are cheap ones out there, like really cheap ones, granted, but that also says that the pro versions, I don't think anyway, will last like that much longer, to be like $300, and you have to go through all the paperwork and everything else. You have to get a professional sort of license kind of deal. At this point, I don't know, man. It's just weird to me. But that's just my perspective on it. If anyone wants to fill me in on that sort of stuff, I am all ears. And it might just be an old school thing overall, quote unquote. But because of how just technology makes things a lot easier in a number of aspects, that just makes it redundant or kind of pointless to continue that practice. It's just kind of strange at that point, because if there is improvement in the coating, wouldn't that mean wouldn't there be like an improvement for the pro coating lineup too? By that logic, I don't know. and I don't think it's worth investing into to find out really, because otherwise I'm just gonna stick with my consumer ceramic coatings. I still like my DIY detailed 8-year coating, still performing pretty damn well after a year plus. Oh shit, I forgot my own tip, which is to throw the key into a safe place, because with these modern cars they love to do the automatic stuff, which is kind of butt backwards if you think about it overall. Touch screens and all this digital key hoopla and stuff like that. I like my analog stuff for sure. Just so you know, I'm still in the back of the car, but yeah. But yep, technology, man, it does things one way or the other. And unfortunately, it's not just good, it's also kind of bad. In some sense. And in some areas, it's kind of basically Pandora's box, especially with like the AI stuff. Man, I'm gonna be real. A lot of those AI thumbnails kind of give me the creeps, you know what I mean? Because it's not real. It's fake, artificial, right? Especially when you make a person just straight from AI. It's really creepy if you think about it, right? And especially if you have this person who actually doesn't really exist. It's like this generic guy or gal or whatever, and like I don't know. It's just weird to me. And that's what technology also does, right? Changes are uncomfortable at first. And I totally get that. So sometimes, even if you tell them like, this is really good, people can possibly have this sort of mechanism to just like be like, nope, I'm gonna stick with what I know, what I'm comfortable with. If it ain't broken, it don't need fixing. And I get that, and I definitely get that sort of mentality. I was kind of like that in some areas, especially with even detailing at one point. I was always like comfortable with like waxing and all that stuff, but and especially with just having to do the whole like 2-bucket wash and everything. Like it makes sense, right, when you look at it, but in the broad spectrum of things, now it's kind of a waste, really. It's kind of overdoing it. I mean, you can still do it, granted, and I'm sure you'll achieve your desirable results, but you can essentially achieve that sort of safety if you just blast everything off the car in the first place, right? And that's why you have these advanced chemicals to do that work nowadays. It's amazing of how things just evolve like that. But that also comes with the price of that change that people are just not comfortable with. Again, I get it. So that's the things, that's like the sort of double-edged sword when it comes to technology. Like, it is very helpful in these certain areas, especially with medical technology, but it also ruins a number of things. And then, someday technology may replace a lot of things, including people's jobs. That's one of the biggest fears, right? In this whole industry. Now, when it comes to detailing, I mean, it's not like we still can't do it for the fun of it in the future of things, but, will there be a need for it, right? Like, because, maybe eventually there'll be nano little robots in the paint to essentially regenerate the paint and help make it possibly self-clean, right? So would there be a need for that, like to polish and like ceramic coat and all that stuff? I think eventually that'll all come to an end, but at the end of the day, just make work of what you have, man. You use what you got and you just have fun with it. That's really all what counts here. So this is where the rinseless wash really shines, because you can use the rinseless wash as of a drying aid of itself, if you, of course, apply the right technique, and you pretty much have a pretty safe wash. This is why, again, must I say again, the hybrid wash is something I really like, because it just combines everything: the fun, the efficiency, the clean from both, right? Because the rinseless wash does clean too. It's just now it's that extra little finisher to make sure everything else has been cleaned off. But the important thing, of course, is that fun. So if you just love the traditional foam wash, then go right ahead, man. It's the tried and true method, always been around for a reason. You know, will it work? Yes. Is there a better method out there? Sure. Just like a lot of things, there's better ways to do certain things or everything, right? There's always something better out there. But again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you know, you just have to make do with what you have and make the most of it. That's the art of, well, a lot of things. But in this particular case, when it comes to technology and detailing, I think it's a great thing. When it comes to just improving chemicals and stuff like that. But, you know, when it comes to robots, say, hypothetically speaking, detailing and stuff like that, I don't know, man, that's a little hard to imagine. But by that point, well, I'm probably going to be well off somewhere else in the ethos, and who knows if even YouTube will be around by that time, right? When if robots get that advanced, by the time robots can subject something, a lot of things are already like gone, I feel. But anyway, I did for those who are curious, when I was doing the contact wash, I was using the V2 Nemesis sponge. That's been working very well for me. I love it. It is a pretty big towel, so it's not for everybody for sure. I certainly like it because the Prius is actually pretty big. Like, it doesn't even fit in the garage. Like, it barely fits in the garage. So I'm barely able to work on it, you know, like polishing and stuff like that, which I did once in its lifetime, not too long ago. It was like just a couple of years ago at this point. All right, well, I actually took about, I mean, with all the prep and everything, like the prep and the preparation, the buckets, like the detail keg and everything, all the prep and the washing and everything, it took about 40 minutes. Pretty fast nowadays now. But we do have the wheels and tire, well, just the tire, because I can't really do much with the wheel because it's plastic and it's kind of pointless to really clean it if I'm going to be real. But I will clean the tire and dress it up, and yeah. But the paint is pretty good as always for what it is. So anyways, there's really not much else. I mean, just clean the tire, clean the wheels, not even different. Use your chemical of choice. There's no real difference because at that point, you do want to rinse it off anyway. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my shampoo, and yeah, the wheels aren't too different from the hybrid wash method. So I'm gonna cut it off here. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this hybrid wash with the clean products from Pan, the organizer. I think they still hold up pretty well, and he's still coming up with more stuff as along with everybody else. I mean, I know DIY Detail just came out with the Type 2 Incredible Suds that we've all been waiting for because it's lower viscosity. Also, apparently has even more cleaning capabilities, so it's definitely all the more reason to try to move over to that. But I still have my Incredible Suds V1, so I'm going to use that up, and then hopefully I can get around to trying Incredible Suds Type 2. But that'll be for another time. Nonetheless, though, the paint is clean. You can check it out here. Whoop. So, ain't she a beauty? Look at this little masterpiece right there. Sorry about the lighting at this point. It is getting a little dark, so that's why I'm gonna cut it off here. So there's no real point at this point in time. So anyways, I'm gonna get to the tires and all that stuff. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao now.